So today we're going to take a look at graphing sine and cosine, and we're going to use the information we've looked at the past couple days to take a look at this. So these first two, we have one's a sine graph and cosine graph. Well, you might remember when we were graphing our circle, here was our start. There's 0 degrees, and our coordinate is 0, 1, and we know it goes. Excuse me, it's not 0, 1. Let's change that. That is the coordinate 1, 0. And we know it goes cosine, sine. So when we look at the start on this one, that's the coordinate 0, 0. So that has to be the sine of x. Where this one, it starts at 1, so that has to be the cosine of x. Now if we look a couple things about both these graphs, the amplitude is 1, because there's our high and our low, 1 and negative 1, and our midline is there. Our period, the length of a wave, if we graph that, the period is 2 pi. And the same for cosine, our amplitude is 1, and that period, even though it starts high, gets back to that high point at 2 pi. So if we are to take a look at this next question here, it says how many points would we need to graph each one of these? Well, a lot of things repeat, so you'll notice here they're even highlighted. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are known as our 5 critical points. And then those just repeat. We go high, medium, low, medium, high. And it works the same for that sine graph. High, medium, mid, low, mid, high, and we can connect them with a smooth curve. So yesterday we talked about how these, there's some transformations here. And we said A was the amplitude. The period is 2 pi over B. C is your horizontal shift, which is sometimes called the phase shift. And D is your vertical shift. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at graphing some of these. And we have some steps here for graphing. So first we're going to identify the amplitude, period, phase shift, vertical shift, and reflections. So that's the first thing. So our amplitude would be 2/3. Our B value is 1, so our period is 2 pi over 1, which is 2 pi. There's no phase shift, and there's no vertical shift, C or D, and it's not reflected up or down, so there isn't any of those. Find the x values for your critical points. Well, if our period is 2 pi, each critical point, so we had 1 at the start, 2, 3, 4, 5, that has to be 2 pi. Well, to label all these, 2 pi divided by 4, so we're going to count by pi over 2. So pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, which is pi, 3 pi over 2. Midline, well, that's going to be at 0 because it wasn't shifted, so our high is 2/3, and our low would be negative 2/3. So, and we could just label one of these tick marks. What we're scaling by, we have 2/3 and we have negative 2/3. At this one, it's a sine. So we know sine starts in the middle and goes up. So high, middle, low, middle. And sometimes, let's see, I even dash in the high line. So I kind of know there's the high, the mid, and the low, just so I kind of know where I'm going here. So this one looks like that. So this one has to be middle, low, high, and then we'll end another one at the middle. So we have our graph there. So the next one we're going to take a look at, there's a bit more stuff going on here, but we're going to start the same way. Amplitude is 3. Our B value is 1 again, so 2 pi over 1, so that's just 2 pi. Plus pi over 2, so that's got to go to the left pi over 2. Up 1, and there's that negative, so there's a reflection. So our critical points, again, we're going to take our period and divide it by 4. So 2 pi over 4 is pi over 2. So I'm going to start labeling this as 1 pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and 4 pi. And our amplitude's 3 here, but one thing I noticed is that it moved up 1. So our midline is going to be at, oh, this is really thick. I'm going to make that quite a bit thinner. So our midline is at 1. And our amplitude is 3. So on either side of this, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So up 3 and down 3. 1, 2, 3. So if our amplitude's 3, this would be at, oops, let's grab the pen. This would be at 4, and down 3 it would be at -2. So now here's the tricky part. So normally we're at a cosine, and cosine starts high, but that negative is going to start it low, but we have to complete our shift. And so normally our cosine would be low, medium, high, medium, low, but it has shifted to the left pi over 2. And you'll notice our mark is pi over 2. So to the, oops, that's not to the left one. Let's undo that. So take this one to the left pi over 2. Left, 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 left. So we have the start of it, and we could keep it going because this would go back to the mid here. Then it would go to the high. And then here this is low, mid, high. So let's take a look at a couple more of these where there's a lot more stuff going on here. So this next one here, our amplitude is 2. Our B value is 2 on this one, so our period is 2 pi over 2, which would just be pi. Our phase shift minus pi over 4, so to the right, pi over 4. Vertical shift is down 1, and there isn't a reflection. So those critical points, again, it's your period divided by 4. So we have pi over 4. So this first one, 1 pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, which is pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and then just pi. Where is our midline? Well, it moved down 1. So there's our midline, is at -1. The amplitude is 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So we have our midline. So this would be at 1 and -3 because that amplitude is 2. And then let's see, cosine. Well, cosine is going to start high. But what happened here? And we could always just start here. It's to the right pi over 4. Well, one tick mark is to the right pi over 4. So it's usually going to start here. So it will start here. So that's high, medium, low, mid, high, mid. So this one's high, so it's going to go mid, low, mid, high. And we have that graph there. And then we're done. Oh, so our midline was -1, the high would be 1, and low -3. Okay, and I think we're going to look at one more here. So this one thing I notice is that 2 is inside parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite that. I'm going to factor out that B value. So to the sine of 2. If I factor that out, factor it out to 2, so our denominator is now going to be pi over 4, because if I distribute that 2, it'd be 2 pi over 4. If I distributed this, it would be 2 pi over 4, which is our original here. So now I have that B on the outside of parentheses. So our amplitude is 2, our period is 2 pi over 2, so that's pi. Phase shift minus pi over 4, so to the right pi over 4. There isn't a vertical shift or a reflection. So again, critical points, pi over 4, so that's going to be, yep, pi over 4. Midline is at 0, so our high is 2 and negative 2. So let's see, I could dash that in. We got 2, negative 2, and our midline. Let's see, so if we label this pi over 4, pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, and pi, so 0, 2, and negative 2. Sine, so sine usually starts in the middle, but it shifted to the right pi over 4, so it's going to start here. So that means then it goes high, mid, low, mid, high, and this one is mid, so here's low, mid, high, mid, and we have our sine graph. Now you're going to be practicing some of these tonight, but what I would like you to do, please, is take out your assignment, because I believe there's a couple that we need to switch. That one was okay. I believe it was this one. So if we take a look at this one, our A is 1, our B is 1/3, so that means our period is 2 pi over 1/3. So 2 pi times 3 over 1, so that's 6 pi. So yes, we needed to switch this right here to 3 pi over 2. And I think that was it on that one.